Hey, Nispo here. So this is the same kind of setup, but for Windows 11 that I did for Windows 10. What I'm doing here is I'm going to run through my kind of USB thumb drive Windows 11 setup install using Rufus, and then eventually showing you how I have some of my automated scripts to kind of go and do all sorts of things to the system to prepare it for any sort of overclocking that I do or benchmarking. So I go to overclock.load.run. That leads to my overclocking journal. This is a Notion journal. It's kind of like Evernote. Control-Shift-L, and here I added my Windows 11 automation scripts, similar to my Windows 10. Warning, these will automatically download and trigger a script to do cleanup, so don't run any of this stuff on machines that you use every day. This is just if you have a brand new machine and you want to start from scratch, and you're going to start from scratch, this kind of helps automate some of the process. I have my GitHub project here, and then also a list of the packages that I uninstall as well as the services that I disable. First things first, so I need to get Windows 11. So I have a link here for Windows 11. Go down to download the disk image. Select Windows 11 Multi-Edition. Download this. It'll ask you to select a product language. Me, English. Confirm. And then it gives you this button for a 64-bit download. Okay, download is finished. That should have downloaded it to downloads folder. There's the ISO. I am now going to install Rufus. So this is a script that I created. You need to open up PowerShell, run as administrator, and just cut and paste. This will download the script and invoke it. And it will start up Rufus for you. I'll just minimize this. So one of the things that I ended up doing also is because I seem to do this quite frequently, I ended up getting a USB hard drive. This one connects through a USB-C connection, much faster than a normal USB thumb drive. But if you just have a thumb drive, you'd be able to select it right here, and it will just show you like the maybe an 8 gigabyte or 16 or 32. But the speeds are so much slower. So when doing this kind of process, I kind of switched over to using a USB hard drive. So be able to select that USB hard drive, you saw how it was blank. You have to actually unhide the advanced drive properties, select list USB hard drives, then you'll be able to select that hard drive. Then over here, select the Windows 11 ISO file. Now another trick here is you can actually choose through Rufus whether or not you want to create a installer that will bypass the TPM check, or you can go ahead and install just a regular one right here. Since I know that my machine and my CPU, specifically the Intel chip that I have, has a TPM 2.0 enablement, I'll go ahead and do this one. But if you want to install on other machines, maybe older machines that don't have any TPM, because either the CPU or the motherboard doesn't have the TPM chip, the security chip, you would select this one, and then you can install Windows without that kind of requirement or that check. The other thing is change the volume label. Usually name it Windows 11 or Win 11. Make sure that this is NTFS, and then I will hit start. This is going to reformat the whole drive, so whatever thumb drive you put in there, be careful. Make sure that it's an empty drive. Okay, so how fast that was, pretty quick. Hit close. Then I will go to my next script for Windows 11. This will modify the drive. To modify the drive, you need to have the drive letter. So this would be D. My computer name, I usually enter in eopsin, and login name, ISPO. Okay, this is much faster than Windows 10 because I am no longer generating. There is an install WIM file. For Windows 10, I had to generate this file. For Windows 11, it seems that this file is just there, so that makes things a little bit more convenient. The other file is an encrypted file. This is an unencrypted file. This catalog I generated ahead of time, so that's what I'm copying and putting into place. And then the other thing is this autoattend.xml file. This actually creates or answers all the questions during the install process. So that's the other file that gets created and then put onto this USB thumb drive, or in my case, a USB drive. So I am going to close that out, and we're going to restart. Okay, for this motherboard, hit F12 to go into a boot menu. If you don't have this boot menu, you'll have to go through the setup, and then under boot, select the thumb drive that you're going to boot from. Here, I can actually just select which one I want to boot from. This is my NVMe SSD that's installed on the computer. It's a Western Digital NVMe drive, SSD drive. This is my Samsung T7. This is the USB thumb drive, or the USB drive that I'm going to be using for the install. This is where I actually installed all of the Windows 11 ISO file for the installer. I'm going to start this. Okay, right here you'll see that it'll go through the install without having me to enter anything or click through anything. So this is an unattended installation. At this point I can kind of walk away and let things do its own thing, and then come back and then be able to kind of resume my setup. Okay, first time you enter in, it's going to ask you for a password. For me, since this is going to be an environment where I'm just going to be running some benchmarks and overclocking, I usually don't like to set a password, so I'll just hit enter here when it's asking for a password. It will automatically log me in without having to enter a password next time. Alright, Windows rebooted. I'm just going to turn this off. going to go back to my scripts. So at this point, this is a freshly installed Windows 11 operating system. Overclock, .load.run, so it redirects to my journal. Control-Shift-L, turn it to dark mode. This only works for Notion, by the way. Here are my automation scripts. So the first thing usually when you get Windows is you have to perform a bunch of Windows updates. What I do is I just trigger a script to do this. So I'll go into PowerShell, run as administrator. Yeah, you can see that there's all these downloads that are pending and waiting. So what I will do is, see here, right here, automation scripts for Windows 11. This is the update Windows script. This will download and run my script. Sometimes it will error because Windows needs to install some other sorts of dependencies first. So what I'll do is I'll just hit the up arrow and re-execute the script. The script will also, at the end, automatically reboot. So if that doesn't happen, just keep running the script until all the updates are finished processing, and then a reboot happens. Okay, and here's the reboot. And at this point you'll have a fully functioning system. So if you want to stop running the other scripts, feel free to. What I am going to do though is prepare this machine for overclocking and benchmarking. To do that, I want to uninstall a bunch of packages that I don't want anymore and that take up resources. So if you go to add remove programs, you can see that there is a lot of programs that are installed. Looks like 39 apps. What I am going to do is uninstall a bunch of these. So go back into PowerShell, execute this script, the uninstall packages script that I have. This will download and run the code to turn or uninstall all these various different apps. You can see that the app count is starting to go downwards. This one will disable services. Disable services. You can go into Task Manager, go more details, services, go see all of them that are running. And you can see there's a fair amount of running services. What this will do is stop some of the unnecessary services and then disable them. Ignore some of these messages if they error out. This is something that I was disabling in Windows 10. Now, if you take a look, there should be a little bit less out there. Not a whole bunch less, but there is less. Only the critical stuff is being left. Then I install several packages. For this one, actually, it's the same thing as Windows 10. All I'm doing is installing NVIDIA. The drivers, updating the drivers. So this is actually installing version 5.11.23. Okay, that is finished. So I install going to install Steam. Steam has my 3D Mark and Precision X software, since I have an EVGA graphics card on this machine. I installed CPU Z and hardware info. Okay. The thumb drive you can use over and over until you're finished with it, and then you can reformat the thumb drive. If this was useful, let me know. If there's any suggestions, the code and the scripts that I've created, feel free to leave me a comment or send me a message. I think that's about it. That was kind of the end-to-end install using Windows 11 and the scripts that I created. Thanks. Peace out.